Hey, this is Cameron, and welcome to the amazing Sor Hands Q&A podcast. Right now I'm driving. I don't know if the car will disturb you, but it doesn't really matter. This is like the very early stages of this thing. I think back to when I started my YouTube channel, where I just sort of turned the camera on, and I didn't really think much of what I was doing or saying. And it has since, developed into this complex, intricate show. I'm just kidding. But it's turned into something. And I assume that this podcast will also turn into something. I'm just going to, I need to have those episodes where I just sort of talk about how I'm doing a new thing. Anywho, I am driving back from my girlfriend's house right now, to which I stayed the night. I know. Pretty epic. I do that pretty often, actually. She stays at my place, too, but, it's like half and half. She lives like 15 minutes away. What's really great about staying with her, other than the obvious, I don't want to get gross on here, but what else is really great about staying with her, I'm so sorry, is she has this big closet. And I emptied it out, or I helped her clean it, and it's quite large. I have a chair that I set up in there, because I just carry around like a chair and table combo, and I practice guitar in there. And yeah, it works out really well with her, because I'm kind of an early riser. Like, I woke up at like 9, which, sorry, I'm an early riser, like, for a loser guitarist. So I'll wake up at around like 9. She sleeps in like how you would imagine a guitarist sleeps in. Like, she just won't wake up until like 1 or 2 p.m. Unless I wake her up. Like, I woke her up at like 12:30 today, and she was fast asleep. Like, she would have stayed there for hours. But it's perfect because I wake up at 9, and I went to that closet and I just closed the door. Like, she's a deep sleeper, so she can't hear anything. And they're thick walls anyway, so she can't really hear anything regardless. And I just practiced guitar, man. Like, I put in like over an hour of scale work, and then I worked on, as you guys know, like if you're from the YouTube channel, BWV 997. I've been working on the fugue for that one, and I put in some work into the Morel Sonatina. And I've been really thinking about, like, I don't know, I think with the Morel, and I think that we can all kind of relate with this. Like, you learn a piece, and then you just sort of become content with how you play it. And you kind of stop practicing it so much, and you more just kind of run through it every day, or maybe every other day. And it never really gets any better. And I feel like I've been getting that way with the Morel Sonatina. I've been getting that way with a lot of music that I've been working on, because maybe that's like the phase that you go through as a guitarist / instrumentalist. Like, you go through like a big music learning phase, and that's like a big time of growth, and then you learn all the music that you're learning in that phase of your life, and then you sort of just stagnate there. And then it's about coming out of there, I think, that makes you actually grow. I don't know, I feel like I haven't gone through like a period of my life where I only worked on new music for like years and years. Like, I do feel like it's sort of a phase thing. So like over the past year, it's been like BWV 1001, Morel Sonatina, and I kind of just sat there for a while. And like before that was the Sor Mozart Variations, and I could kind of divide it up into that. It was Sor Mozart Variations, and then like Julia Florida, Capriccio Arbe, that was all like together. And then BWV 1001, Morel Sonatina. And now I'm just working on the new fugue, 997. But yeah, there are just little parts in the Morel Sonatina, like, when I really listen to it, and that's actually what's kind of nice about the closet, too, is it's very quiet, and, like, nobody's making noise or anything, so I can really hear every little detail on my guitar. Which I have a new guitar, also, by the way, as you may know, if you watch the main show, which I'm saying that, this podcast, like, nobody's watching this, just because I don't advertise it, and, it doesn't really, or I don't know, maybe I will on the main channel one day, especially if I start, like, answering questions. Like, I'm not answering any questions right now, I'm just talking about my day. But yeah, you can really hear every little detail. And the guitar is quite brilliant too. It is way better than the Cordoba that I played before. But yeah, just hearing these little passages in the Morel Sonatina, like I just noticed little garbagey sections that come out. And even when I play them slowly, they still just sound kind of muddy. And I don't know, they just aren't where they should be. So that's kind of the stuff that I'm thinking about right now. Just really paying attention to every little detail in the music that I'm working on. And trying to actually like improve. And not letting myself just get kind of stagnant and complacent with how I'm playing things. Because I feel like that was happening for a while. But I'm kind of getting out of it now. Like, really what it comes down to is just playing it slowly. I've been doing this new thing. I've been telling my students to do this too. Like, can you actually, like, in your heart of hearts, say that you can really play this passage slowly? Because a lot of times I feel at the passages that I flub a lot, like when I think about my music, even if I play them slowly, like my fingers, because they've flubbed it so many times at full speed, they like barely even really know how to play it slow. And if that's something that's happening to you, it's just like, how am I ever going to play this fast or like a concert speed if I can't even play it slow, like in a practice setting? Like, I'm screwed. Yeah, so I don't know, I've just been asking myself that. And I've been finding that it's working, so, you know, something to think about. Yeah. We'll see how long this one is going to go for, because I am driving right now, and I have to teach pretty soon. I'm going to probably wrap it up. I wanted to answer some comment questions, because I feel like I can maybe treat this podcast as sort of an opportunity to answer all the questions that I'm asked. Because I'm asked a lot of questions, which I know, if you're seeing this podcast isolated, nobody's asking me any questions. Like, what am I talking about? But I promise you, there's a YouTube channel where people ask me a lot of questions, and I can only answer so many of them. So I don't know. I'm going to get into that. I mean, thinking of some of the most recent videos that I've done, I did a Jacob Collier video, and there's been a lot of annoying comments on that one. I can't even get into them right now because I don't have the comments here, but the biggest thing that I'm finding is that everyone's assuming that I don't know what a tritone substitution is, and I didn't understand that Jacob Collier was playing 2-5-1s because I said that he was playing like random chords, which he was. Like, just because there's logic behind like a random chord and a chord progression, like it's a tritone sub for the other dominant chord, like that doesn't mean that it's not random, I think. I mean, if you put a dominant chord anywhere, it could be a tritone sub going anywhere. Right? Like, and you could just call it a tritone sub of like any applied dominant chord. That doesn't make it not random. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe my ear's not developed enough for it. But you know what? I think it is, personally. Like, I know what a 2-5-1 sounds like, but people on the internet, they just love to pretend like you don't know shit, and then they get a little platform to spew everything they've learned that no one in their actual life will listen to, because they're lonely and sad. And look at me, it's like I'm talking about myself right now. Like, literally, what am I doing? Just like spewing to the internet. Yeah, so, you know, we're all kind of the same in that way. Everybody else just does it through comments. I do it through videos. It's all the same crap. So, I get it. Yeah, let me see. I don't know if I want to get into like an actual story this time around or anything like that. But I might just talk about like practice a little bit more. A big thing that I've been working on is rest strokes, because I've kind of not worked on rest stroke like at all throughout my classical career. That's a story to get into, like how I got into classical guitar and all that stuff. Maybe we'll get into that later, but I don't know. Rest stroke was never really like a big emphasis in my classical training. That started when I was 19, actually. I've been playing guitar since I was 11, but I mainly played jazz. That's where I worked on the tritone subs, you fucking assholes. Like, I don't know what that is. Okay, great. I mainly worked on jazz, and, like, before jazz, like, rock music and stuff, but, you know, like, I studied jazz quite a bit. I even went to a little, like, conservatory during high school where I was bused there and I missed a bunch of education, like, school education, just to study jazz theory and jazz performance. But, you know, tritone subs. I don't know what that is, right? It's annoying. It's... people are so annoying. What was I talking about? I was talking about, oh yeah, like, you know, getting into classical guitar. It just, rest stroke was never really a big thing. But I've been hearing a lot that, rest stroke, hearing a lot. Like, I've been experimenting with it. And I just noticed, like, I don't know, like, anybody who's playing, like, super fast, like, look up on Instagram, like, anybody shredding IM scales, like, they're all doing rest stroke. And I've been finding that I can get it faster than free stroke, faster and more clean. And I don't know, I feel like shredding scales is just something that I've always missed. Because I used to do it, like, before I was into classical, like, ages 11 through 19. I remember I learned how to shred when I was, like, 15 or so. And that just came from playing a bunch of scales with alternate picking. And, yeah, there was something kind of, like... I don't know about, like, cathartic, but there was something sort of affirming about it, that, like, you could just do it and you kind of just felt good at guitar. But right now with my IM scales, like, I can play, like, my fugue and I can play, like, these pretty hard pieces, like, somewhat well. But I don't know, I feel like when I grab a guitar and, like, set it in my hands when my hands are cold, I just can only play a scale at, like... If I want to keep it clean while I'm also cold, I feel like I can only play, like, eighth notes at, like, 70 BPM. And, like, any faster, my hand will, like, clam up. Like, maybe not quite that slow, but, you know, like... I don't know, I just remember on electric guitar, I was able to just whip it out and just cold, just shred super hard. And maybe it comes from... I don't know, maybe using a pick is just easier. And I'm allowed to say that, because I used a pick for the first, like, 8 years of my playing. I've been playing for like 15 or 16 years now, so maybe that's not it. You think fingerstyle is like that much harder, that it even like with an equivalent amount of time I still can like not even come close to the speed that I had with a pick? I know that IM is also like a lot slower naturally, but you can see some people just shredding it, and I think for shredding with a pick, the highest speed I ever got to was like 200 BPM. Just like 2 octave scales, you know, like 2 octave melodic minor, or a harmonic minor, like as if I was practicing melodic minor at the time. Heck no. Harmonic minor. And, I don't know, that was like faster than you ever really needed, unless you were playing like shred metal stuff. But if you were playing like anything that was actual music, as in like a song that wasn't a solo, you really don't need anything faster than 150 BPM. 16th notes. And I've actually latched onto that number in particular. That's my goal speed for IM scales. And the reason why is because I remember the pianists at the music school that I went to, where I got my undergrad, they were all required to whip out their 16th note scales, triplets, 16th notes at 150 BPM. They would be called on like any scale. So, but they were expected to be able to play it at that speed, which 150 is quite fast, especially if we're talking like a clean 150. Or at least that's just something that I heard. I never actually witnessed the piano juries or anything, but I just heard that they were expected to play their scales like very quick and well. So I don't know, like that's a pretty good standard to hold yourself to. It was Rachmaninoff who said 2 hours of scales and arpeggios is enough for any performer to handle what the composers have, or something like that. Yeah. So 150 BPM, that's the goal. I don't know how long that's going to take. I'm going to make a scale update video pretty soon on the main channel. I think I'm going to make it in the next like 5 days or so, and it's going to involve Raschiato, it's going to involve IM, and it's going to involve MA that I'm doing triplets with. IM are 16th notes. and I've been able to get like a pretty tight 110. But like that's after like a lot of warming up and stuff. Something that I didn't have like when I started doing this was a tight 100. But I feel that 100 is like very comfortable now, so that's pretty good. And 110, you know, it's a little harder, but I think I can do it. Yeah, so pretty cool. You know, how about this? I'm going to keep rambling for a little bit, and then once I park my car, I'm going to go into a comment question or two, and I'm just going to sit in my car and answer those things. I feel like that could be a pretty good way to do this. I'm kind of just giving you updates right now. I'm not like going into anything in particular. But yeah, you know, practicing a lot. That's been good. Teaching a lot. Teaching less. Like, I talked about my teaching in the last one, and I was teaching like a shit ton. Like 86 students was my highest that I ever taught. Those are 30-minute lessons, by the way. I wasn't teaching 86 hours a week. That'd be pretty crazy. But, so it was like 40-something hours. And I did that all through the platform that I mentioned, that I still use. I still have like 13 or 14 students on it. And I've been using YouTube to kind of like supplement that because I wanted to diversify where I was teaching. Not that that was like my initial plan when I started my YouTube, but it became very clear that that would be a good idea. And it actually stemmed from, I got like, or I don't want to like say anything bad about, well, it's okay, I haven't said like the name, and there's nothing bad, they've been very good to me, but I remember I like canceled a couple of classes in a row, like canceled, but like I was talking with the parents and stuff, and we like agreed on canceling and like moving it to a different day, like rescheduling, and I just used their cancel function instead of their reschedule or something like that. And they sent me this email talking about how like my account could be terminated if I cancel too many classes in a row. And it's just these like weird little automated emails like that that's just like, I'm working with the parents right now. Like, we're finding something that works for our schedules. Like, I'm not like bound to like not be able to reschedule. Like, it was crazy. And I remember this was when I had like maybe 500 or 600 subscribers when that happened on YouTube. And the day that happened, I was very careful not to have like my first and last name like on the YouTube channel. I had the first name, but I didn't have my name attached to anything. And even my diploma that's on the wall behind me, I like whited out my middle and last name. Just because I wanted like no trace, nothing to link like the channel to me and like my other teaching life that I have. But after that email, I just put my first and last name and like put all my credentials and stuff and just gave exactly who I was, because I was upset, because it's like I've been working for you guys for like years, and I'm gonna get this like kind of shitty email about like how you can terminate my account. I can be kind of a hot-headed guy, I'll be honest. So maybe it probably didn't mean anything. I'm sure they wouldn't actually terminate it, but it really just scared me, because it's like that teaching job, it means a lot to me, because it was like at the time especially my main source of income. And like, I don't know, if I lost that would be horrible. It would be like the worst thing ever if I lost that thing. Like, at the time. If I lost it now, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, because I have like a whole other income source. But especially then, when I was so obsessed with like retirement accounts, like, not that I'm not now, but I would like work really hard in order to like make enough money to like contribute like the maximum to everything. I don't do that so much anymore. I'm trying to do that, but in a way that's like not horrible to work, because I was working like horrible hours at that time. But yeah, it put a little like fear in me, because it's like they can just take this thing away from me anytime, because the simple fact is that it is not mine. God, this guy's walking across the street so slow. What the hell, dude? It's fine. I ran him over. I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. Yeah, so it scared me. It just like I'm really Like, again, I don't have a boss, but I kind of do. I kind of do have a boss in that situation. So now YouTube is my boss, because that's where I make the majority of my money. Not that it's that much. I'm making like all-time lows from what I've ever made before. Or not all-time lows. I'm sure I made less in high school. But certainly a lot less. But I have no like company that's, you know, like YouTube is the company now, but they don't care about my teaching business. They don't care about me at all, actually. I'm way too small for them, but the other company probably cared a little bit. So, you know, it's fine. All right, I'm pulling into my parking spot now. I park in a garage, parking garage outside my apartment, or it's not that close. It's like 3 blocks away. Yeah, let's get into some of these comments, shall we? Thanks for listening to me ramble on the way here, on the way from my girlfriend's house. Sorry about that. That was a beer can I just stepped on. Drunk driving, am I right? I'm just kidding. I've never done that, ever. I don't know if I can be, like, persecuted by this or anything. Alright, let's take a look at some of these videos from the past week. So, we got... hold on. Let me know if any of these sound interesting to you. Are you stuck in the intermediate rut? That one's only got 3 comments right now, so we're not going to get into that. Yeah, and then the last video I did, classical guitarist reacts. I was going to do classical loser, but somebody actually left a really sweet comment, and they were like, I don't like the theme where you call yourself a loser because it doesn't give credit to, like, the wonderful content that you make. And I was like, oh my god, dude, how am I supposed to call myself a loser after you say that? That's so beautiful. That's such a nice freaking comment. Let me actually read the whole thing. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see here. I'll get to it when I get to it, but hold on. Sorry, hold on. There's a lot of comments. I'm not going to find this thing. Oh, here we go. All right, so The Drawing Studio 1. I don't like the theme of your channel where you call yourself a loser. It's deterring and not at all indicative of the good quality content you put out in this channel. God, so sweet, man. I'm going to give that comment a heart. Anyways, let's take a look at the rest of our video. So we have the classical guitarist relax, not classical loser this time. Jacob Collier explains music in 5 levels of difficulty. That video is really funny. I've known about it for a long time. And the whole series isn't out yet. It's probably going to be a 3-parter. But it's really funny because it's just Jacob Collier, like, teaching first a child and then, like, a bigger child and then a college student, which is, like, I don't know, teaching, like, depending on, like, it was an Eastman college student, too, which is, like, a really great music school. So I'm sure he knew his stuff. So it's, like, any tritone subs that Jacob is throwing at this student, he's like, yeah, like, I know. Like, I have a gig after this. I know all this stuff. I'm just kind of practicing it right now. Yeah, and then after that is the professional pianist, which is just the professional pianist, like, hanging on for dear life, trying to keep any shred of dignity, as if, like, because learning something in that situation as a professional, like, I understand, like, the constant pursuit of learning, but I feel like learning also makes you look, like, a little weak in some situations where you should maybe, like, maybe that's, like, a horrible attitude to have, but it's just, I don't know, like, I can see being, like, upset in that situation where it's just like, stop trying to teach me. Like, I know just as much as you. I'm a professional classical pianist. And what's really funny about that is that the classical pianist is put on level 4, while Herbie Hancock, which is also a professional pianist, a professional jazz pianist, he's on level 5. Like, as if he's going to know more about music, or, like, harmony was the subject here. Like, yeah, you know. So it was just silly. That video has almost 2,000 views so far, and 46 comments. Dare I go into the comments here? They're just going to piss me off. It's just a bunch of Jacob Collier fanboys being fucking annoying, assuming that I don't know what a tritone sub is. Ramona Costa, since more notes are better, from now on I'm going to harmonize every note with all notes. Yes, and remember to harmonize all notes with one note as well. Wonderful. And then there's this one guy, Eric Shell. Eric Shell's weird because he's not a public subscriber. He has his subscription's public, and I'm not one of them. But he comments on every video of mine that could be considered like negative. And really, it's just me like reacting and like kind of poking fun and taking the shit out of people. Because it's just fun. Like, I don't mean anything by it. I'm just fucking around. But he left a comment, "Thank you for demolishing this guy," which I don't know what he means by that, because like it sounds like he's on my side with that. But like in other comments, like in the Marty Schwartz video, all you do is make fun of people and it's pathetic. All you do is watch people make fun of people and it's pathetic. Fuck you, Eric. Which I gotta respect, Eric Shell. I respect that you do your first and last name and you're showing your face and your profile. That's badass, honestly. I'm putting myself out there. I show my face and my first and last name. You are too, so at least I know that you're a person. So not fuck you. I'm sorry about that. Like, you're just voicing your opinion, just like I'm doing. So, you know, like, but good for you. You're not hiding. You're not a coward. And I respect that. You said, "Bro, you were fucking annoying, except to 12-year-olds, maybe." You think 12-year-olds are watching my shit? There's no way, dude. Dude, the average age of my viewers are like 50. There's no way. Yeah, that's all the good ones. Oh, he follows like a bunch of... okay. We'll look at that later, maybe. Let's see what here. Blue Phoenix, welcome to the Musical Jealousy channel. Boom. I said that I was jealous in the very beginning of that. What are you talking about, man? There's nothing that can deter these people. Maybe you can... oh, this is from Guitarra. Maybe we can solve the whole music thing already. Just play all 12 notes at once for the nicest possible harmony. And I appreciated this interaction. I said the most interesting harmony. And then he said the most harmony, with most all caps. Very good. I like that. Okay, and here it is. Trespian 1837. He ain't playing random chords, bruh. Yes, he is, bruh. Like, I know that you're about to label everything that he's playing as tritone subs and 2-5-1s. Yeah, like, can't everything kind of be labeled as that? I mean, I get what I'm saying, but I mean, any sort of cadence to a tonic, like, there's 2-5-1, like, inherent harmony in it, and I know that he's playing 2-5-1s. You can play them anywhere to go anywhere. Like, I don't know. Let's just... I haven't even started reading the comment, but, like, I'm just remembering everything that Jacob was doing. He was doing, playing 2-5-1s, plopping down dominant chords randomly, which I say randomly. A dominant chord plopped down anywhere can be the dominant of whatever note is like a fourth above, fifth below, of course, and also the tritone sub of that, like, depending on how you want to resolve it. Like, you can plop down dominant chords kind of randomly, and you can justify it with anything. Like, oh, it's a random dominant chord, but it's also the tritone sub of the 5 of 6. So, you know, we're going to resolve to the 6. And you can put a dominant chord, like, on the 2, like, whatever. That's just 5 of 2. Dominant chord on the flat 2. Like, you know, dominant leading to the 1. Or a tritone sub leading to the 1. Like, you can plop them down anywhere. And it can feel random. And I get everything I'm saying right now. You can take it and just, like, rip it apart and be like, no, but like, I don't know. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Let's just see what you said. Most of the changes before the G7, F sharp major 7, F major 7 were 2-5-1s with tritone subs. That's great, man. The G7, F sharp major 7 is a common jazz progression to tonicize the F major 7. Yeah, dude, like, walking, like, half step down from a dominant chord, which is the 5 of 5, and then going to an F sharp, which is the flat 2, which is a major 7 on the flat 2, which I can kind of see making sense over a dominant, because the flat 7 or the dominant on the flat 2, or, like, speaking from the tonics perspective, wouldn't go anywhere if it's, like, you know, the same note as the... Like, that note is the same as the major 7 of the root, or of the tonic chord, I mean. So, yeah, like, playing a major 7's cool over that. Let's see here. Tritone sub as well as, but a little more nuanced. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. G7 is the 5 of 5. Oh, fuck, thanks, man. Thanks for telling me that G7 is the 5 of 5. F sharp major 7 is the tritone sub of C7, But since it's a major 7, you get the flat 9 for, and most importantly, the flat 7 of C7, which resolves really well to F major 7. You know what else resolves really well to F major 7? Anything. Anything at all, man. Because music's crazy, bro. I said thanks, brah. Alright, he said, and right before saying that, he literally plays it and doesn't hear the voice leading. You just assume I don't hear the voice leading. That's great. I guess his ears just aren't used to that sound. Yeah, probably not. That's from Blow by Blow Trumpet. Yeah, exactly, dude. This is the same guy again. Not everyone has to get it either. Yeah, because I probably don't get it. Sure, man. Yeah. However, if you're gonna make a video on a topic that you don't know much about, why just label stuff that you don't know as random chords and deprive not only yourself of the opportunity to learn something new, but also the viewers who may not know what's going on and will just take your word for it. Yeah, dude, like, so I'm spreading, like, misinformation, like, just giving my take on the harmonies that I'm hearing Jacob Collier play. I feel like that's not, like, a hot take, like, calling, like, advanced jazz reharms, like, kind of random sounding. I mean, I don't know, if somebody comes to me and they're, like, trying to learn about this stuff using my channel, like, they're already fucked to begin with. Like, I'm not the guy to learn this stuff from. Like, I'm very much a classical guitarist, and we can talk about these harmonies in a classical context, and somewhat in a jazz context too, but, like, I'm not gonna pretend like what I'm hearing is, like, magic, and, like, not just kind of, like, stuff thrown around, you know? I don't know. I'm not articulating myself right now. It's probably because I don't know what I'm talking about. The worst part is we're going to have people who don't understand all this walking around telling people how Jacob Collier doesn't know his stuff and just plays random chords. Wow, wouldn't that just be a tragedy? And also, like, how is that happening? That's definitely not happening. A lot of the stuff I do on here is a joke, man. Like, I hope that people don't really take it seriously. Like, I'm just kind of fucking around with the Jacob Collier video. Obviously, it's not intentional, and the guy seems chill. Aww, dude, you said all that, and you think I'm chill still. But it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, man. I'm making the world a worse place. I probably am. You probably have a point, honestly. But, I mean, just to get it out there, like, I do know what a tritone sub is. And if you don't know, it's when you take a dominant chord, and if you take the root of that dominant chord and move a tritone, which a tritone, it can be in any direction because it's symmetrical. If you go up a tritone, it's the same note as down a tritone. And replace the root with that note, the most important chord tones of the dominant chord, which are the 3 and the flat 7 of your first dominant chord, are the same as the dominant chord that's a tritone away. The only difference is the third is now the flat 7, and the flat 7 is now the third of the new dominant chord. Which, if you couldn't follow that, just Google it. Google tritone sub, and there'll be like a little diagram. But it's basically just, like, imagine your root, third, and 7, flat 7, and then off of that root, go up a tritone, and then get rid of your original root. What you have there is still a dominant chord with a root, 3, and flat 7. It's just the notes are switched around, which is kind of cool. It's a cool idea, because it means that you can play, like, let's say a G7 going to C. You could also play a D flat 7, or C sharp 7, however you want to look at it. And the main, like, the tritone, that's a part of the dominant chord that resolves nicely to C major from the G7, because G7 has a tritone in it. That's what the 3 and flat 7 make. That tritone is the same tritone present in a D flat 7 chord. So it's kind of cool. So you can really, in a way, plop down dominant chords anywhere and kind of just justify it, you know? And that's a very, like, simple, silly way to look at it, but I'm being simple and silly. I'm just making fun of it, like, kind of on a surface level, but it's just these little things that I'm just making fun of. And it's fine. Like, what do you want me to say? You want me to be like, oh, wow, yeah, he's a real genius. Like, he really knows his stuff. I have nothing to say on this. Like, I don't know. Like, who hasn't heard jazz reharms and just thought, like, wow, this sounds silly? That's what I'm doing. I'm just being that voice. Like, I feel like everybody thinks that. And if not, or I assume people think that, because a lot of people also seem to agree, or not agree, but just, like, resonate with what I was saying. It's just funny. It's funny hearing Jacob Collier take Amazing Grace and just, like, throw in a bunch of 2-5-1s with tritone subs, whatever you want to call it, random chords, You want to call them Neapolitan sixes, like a 2-5 chord progression, or a 2 and then a Neapolitan 6 chord progression, or like, I don't know, like whatever you want to call it. It's the motion of like that half step descending, 2 flat 2 1. It's very chromatic, it's very jazzy, and it's very silly sounding, and that's all I'm getting at. So I'm sorry about it. Yeah, and then some people like James Alexander. This is hilarious. I didn't go to school for music, and I have like 3 brain cells to rub together, and even I didn't learn anything new. Which, I mean, James, if you only have 3 brain cells, were you expecting to learn something new? I don't know, man. I'm just kidding. You're cool, man. Don't worry. Then there's the other side of things. Honestly, I hate jazz. Okay, let's not go that far, man. I don't hate jazz. I love jazz, actually. I've been obsessed with jazz, like, for years at a time. Or maybe like a year and a half at a time. Jazz musicians take a song like Amazing Grace and make substitutions to the chords. Hell yeah, they do. And we're freaking livid about it. Then play melodies that change keys with the chords and have no resemblance to the original melody of the song. Then they have the audacity to say, I'm playing Amazing Grace, and if you don't like it, you aren't smart enough to understand it. Yeah, dude, you don't hear the voice leading. Not everybody has to get it. Don't spread misinformation about this, though, by saying that it sounds random. Like, we need everybody on Earth to just sort of understand that what they're hearing is beyond their comprehension, and they should feel stupid about it. That's what we want. Man. And then a bunch of people left comments on this, and you actually conceded here and said that you had listened to some of their other stuff. You should just stick to your guns, man. Don't listen to that crap. I'm just kidding. You should broaden your horizons and learn. That's a great thing to do. We're just kind of hitting random chords and just plopping them around. Plays a 2-5-1 with a tritone sub. Dude, everybody loves talking about that 2-5-1 with a tritone sub. I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. Like, maybe it would make you guys happy if I just called it that originally, and then there's like no jokes or anything off of that. I just say, oh, that was a 2-5-1 of the tritone sub. Look at me. I can I just like heard that, and I'm just saying it now, and that's what that was. And that's a joke. That's a joke on this comedy channel, guys. It's kind of a comedy channel. It's like half and half. Yeah. All right. Have we gone through enough of these? Ooh, this one is from Divibe. But I mentioned how Jacob Collier's like called the modern day Mozart, and I kind of made fun of that because look at that. Like, that's what I do. I make fun of shit. And I said that like, nobody calls him the modern day Bach. I don't know if like being the modern day Mozart's that great of a thing. His like first 15 symphonies kind of suck. Some of them are good. I like the third one. But you said, I'm not so much into Mozart symphonies. Who is, honestly? But the coda to his 41st is a miracle. A 5-part invertible counterpuntal masterpiece. God, I gotta check that thing out now. Everybody go check that out. The 41st symphony, the coda part of it. Go check it out. We're gonna look at that after this. Dies of cringe. Yeah, I know, man. I know. Yeah. Let me think here. Yeah, that pretty much covers everything. All right. Well. Ooh, a new. Oh God, there's some long comments. I need to look at these. I think we're just gonna leave it at like one video a day now and just see how this thing turned out. But anyways, I think we can wrap it up here. This is kind of a short one, but I also need to teach soon. I don't really have much else to get into. But as always, like, I appreciate everybody watching, and this kind of just gives me an opportunity to just talk about all the comments on a video, because I feel the need to do that, and honestly, it doesn't matter if anybody watches this or not, and I'm, like, for now, not going to advertise it, but I might, maybe by, like, episode 20 or so, if they start getting, like, actually good, and I get good at this sort of content, because I feel like, I don't know, I probably could train on this a bit. Like my rule, or at least in my experience with the practice logs, it takes like 15 to get like a solid routine down. So we're just going to do that like once a day or so. But anyways, like, I don't even need to give like my plug or anything. Go watch my main channel if you're interested. I'm sure that if you're watching this, you probably watch my main channel anyways. Yeah. All right. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'll see you in the next one.